Hi, everyone. We have author Ralph Edgerson here, and he's going to tell us a little bit about himself.
Hi, how you doing? I'm Ralph Edgerson. Born and raised in New Orleans, Louisiana. Moved to Texas, Houston, Texas, after Hurricane Katrina. Uh, Loved it here, and um, it was a better place for me and my family. Started writing, really started writing when I was in high school, just for really just for fun. And wound up getting into journalism in high school. Wanted to actually be a journalist growing up, and that life came around and all that changed. So I put that to the back burner. But after moving to Texas, trying to get my mind around new changes and everything else, I kind of resorted back to my writings. And it started off as poems, writing poems. I really like writing poems, just expressing myself, just getting it all out. And then I dabbled in actually writing stories, and I fell in love with it. Fell in love with writing stories back then.
And tell us about your first published book.
My first published book, that was Decisions. Um, it was, how can you say, it was a work in progress. I started writing Decisions back in 2005, 2006. Um, it actually didn't get published until 2017, and that's because I just pushed it off. Family came first. hobby Hobby and everything else that was secondhand to me. I had to provide for my family, take care of home. So I put that to the back burner and met a friend who at that time met a friend on Facebook at that time and didn't even know she had her own publishing company.
Okay.
And we used to go back and forth with poems because we met in a Facebook group and just writing poems back and forth. And she, love her to death, Dawn Blanchard, she was like, "You need to put your poems in a book." And I was like, "Dawn, nah, I'm good, but I'm not that good." She was like, "No, you're that good. You need to put them in a book." And I said, "Well, let me let you read something that I did years before." Mind you, this was like 2016 then. And I showed her a little insert from Decisions. And when she read it, she was like, "I need you to finish this." And I'm like, "Finish it?" I'm like, "Yeah." She said, "I need you to finish this." She said, "I want to publish this." And I'm like, "Don't." I say, I don't know how to publish a book." She said, "I'm taking care of all that." She said, "I have my publishing company." And that's from that point, it was goals and dreams then. It
Okay.
was like the best thing ever.
Nice. Congratulations. I know that was much easier coming into it with somebody with so much experience.
Exact. Somebody who knew. That's like it's crazy when you network like that.
Hmm.
It wasn't until she told me that she had a publishing company of her own, and I started looking at her actual publishing company and looking at things that she's published before, and she was like 20 books in. So it was like, wow, because Dawn is a magnificent poet. I give her the highest. My favorites are like, of course, Maya Angelou and all the other ones. She's in that category with me. She's that good. She's that intriguing with her wordplay. So when I looked up, her publishing company, I was like, okay, let's do it because her company covers like I want to say 7 different countries.
Okay.
So it's it was looking good for me to actually go that route. Excuse me. This is sip and flip, so I'm
That's
sipping.
what we do. And I'm mad you got you ready and I'm not. But it's never far. Look.
Right? Like I'm like, this is sip and flip. I gotta bring something to the table.
This is what we do.
Mhm. Uh, but yeah, it was. I loved it. I mean, next to my wedding day and my children being born,
Mm-hmm.
seeing my name on the cover of a book was like complete satisfaction.
Wow.
That was like a complete satisfaction to me. And it amazes me every time, like when I look, because I keep my books, I always keep me a copy, and it amazes me every time I walk by and it's like, that's my name on the cover of that book.
Mm-hmm.
And the most recent one is really gratifying because I actually did the cover of it myself. So it's like I did all that. Like
Show us the cover.
the cover is a Lotus Dream,
Okay.
and it's all my books because I'm from New Orleans, all my books are based out of New Orleans. That's gonna always be home. And you write about what you know.
Mm-hmm.
And my first book is about a family in New Orleans that goes through some trials and tribulations. And part two is just part two of the extension of that. The recent one, The Lotus Dream, that's like, how can you say, it's in the same category, but the is totally different characters.
Okay.
And it's about a young woman trying to pay for her college tuition. She doesn't want to ask her mother. Her mother already has her problems. She wants to do it on her own. And she ends up getting with her aunt, and her aunt suggested working at a strip club.
Mm.
She was like, TD, I'm not trying to take off my clothes. She's like, nah, you're not built that way. She said, just go and be a waitress. Well, she gets in there and gets comfortable, and she sees it more than what it's looked at as a taboo, as it's not quote unquote the right thing. And she sees it as a talent. She sees it, these are talented women that are doing magnificent things on the stage. It's just they just happen to take their clothes off. They're extremely talented dancers, and she finds that there are everyday people like everybody else. Is not no, oh, these girls are wild and risque, and they, they don't really have any goals in life. She finds out a lot of them have big goals in life, that they want to do something besides that this is just a stepping stone for them to go to the next step. And my character, Stephanie, she's like extremely timid, quiet, kind of held back, becomes the headliner of the whole thing,
Okay.
and ends up, she is, because I describe in the beginning of the book that a lotus actually grows from murky and dirty water and becomes this beautiful flower. And like I say, in it, like out of that flower becomes a powerful being. So that's what she becomes in the story, and not really losing herself at the same time.
Okay. And how long did it take you to finish writing this book?
Lotus, Lotus took me about a year.
Okay.
It took me about a year, maybe a little more, because I I used to be a bouncer at a strip club, so I kind of seen what it took. It wasn't how TV kind of portrays it,
Mhm.
where it's these wild women, and just they portray it in a dark light.
Mhm.
When you get to know them and they got families, and they have siblings that kind of don't agree with what they're doing.
Mhm.
They have family members that actually are relying on the money that they bring in. you get to see those different types of lifestyles. And that's what I wanted to write in the book. I didn't want to, not to bring up a movie, but like a TV show that's out now that everybody's crazy about. 2020 kind of messed everything up for me
Yes.
because Lotus was supposed to come out when that series came out.
Okay.
2020 put all that to halt, and I had to wait. Um, that kind of, when I seen it, I was like, okay, that's okay, but that's not the real. That's the extravagant, blown out version of it.
Yes.
You know, that's the extravagant, blown out version of it. When it's actually, it's real life, it's real situations. It's an everyday job for them. It's just they just happen to take their clothes off.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I wanted to portray in the book. That's what I wanted to write in the book. Yes, it has its risque versions. I'm not going to even. This is not a book for children. You need to be 21 and older. This is like a drink. This is like a drink. So it has its risky points in it. It has its little drama and everything else in it, but it's the real. I had a friend of mine who I gave the book to because I dedicated the book to a couple of ex-exotic dancers. And I gave her the book, and she was like, Ralph, it was like you brought me back. She said it was nostalgic. She said it's like you brought me back in time.
Wow.
She said I literally could see everything that was going on. She said because we actually lived it. And I'm like, that's what I wanted. That's all I wanted, was for you to visually see how it is, and not how society like to portray it as.
Yes. And tell us where we can purchase your book.
Um, Pretty much anywhere. You can get it on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, um, Google Books,
Mm-hmm.
uh, Walmart online. Pretty much any way you can buy a book online, you'll be able to find any of my books.
All right. And are you working on another book
Two.
at the same
Yeah.
time?
I'm finishing up on one, and kind of, you could say at the same time. You could say at the same time. I'm working on Decisions 3,
Okay.
well, Decisions Trilogy, because I'm just ending that altogether. And then I'm working on, it's one of the main characters in the Decisions book that I found a lot of people that read the book always ask me, like, you need to tell a little more about him. And it's called Levi's Labyrinth. Is Levi's Labyrinth an origin story?
Okay.
So it tells the story of him from a child all the way up to him growing up, and what changed him to be the man that he is now. Because in Decisions 2 is when he first appeared, and Levi is literally a hitman, but he's a family man all at the same time.
Mm.
He has morals, he has goals, but at the same time will tie you up, put you in the back of a truck, and you never be seen again. So that's what I'm working on right now. And it's probably going to be one of my biggest books because it's so much that I'm putting into it. It's starting from when he was 6 years old all the way up to he being 39.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a big book. I was going to break it up into two, but I was like, no, I said I'm just going to put it in one whole book and let it be. I have other ideas coming along in my head because as I write, I don't really write like I know exactly what's going on. It depends on how I feel that day, how this story is going to go. Like I've had situations where, like on my second book, when I was writing, I was like, I'm gonna have to kill this character off, and I don't want to. But yeah, exactly. So it's like it's just how it falls with me. I try to do an outline, but I'm hard headed and I don't really follow by it a lot. I've had other authors tell me, like, dude, you got to go according to what you write. I'm like, yeah, okay. It never really falls out that way. But
Right.
I tried.
I was gonna say, like, that comes with one of the questions, like, how do you write? What comes first, the plot or the characters?
Like I say, I try to do an outline,
Mm-hmm.
and each slot is a chapter. So when I finish that, I just go on to the next one. I kind of know how I want my story to go. What goes on in that chapter as I'm typing, that's all up in the wind, because that's all in this crazy cranium of mine. So it's like, because I've had friends that want to start writing books, and they like, Ralph, how did you start? I'm like,
Mhm.
I just started typing. I had a story in my head, and I just started typing. A lot of times I know how I want the story to end. I know how I want it to begin, and I know how I want it to end. The flavor is all the middle.
Yeah, that's
That's all the middle.
storyteller right there. Any writer's block for you?
Oh my God. Oh my. I've had days where I was just mad at myself. Like, really? You just gonna sit in front of this laptop and not put one word on it?
Mm.
I didn't think it was true. At first I was like, man, that's just something people make up.
Mhm.
And writer's block is real. It's and one thing I found, uh, I seen an author, because I'm in a lot of like
Office.
author groups, and one thing I found, a guy said, if you ever have writer's block, just step away,
Mhm.
clear your mind, do something else, just like completely block away the actual book or what you're trying to do. As hard as it is for you, block that completely away.
Yes.
Eventually, because you completely blocked it away, just being human, your mind is going to automatically come right back to it, and it's going to be refreshed, because it wasn't harboring on how the story was to go. It wasn't harboring on, oh, I need this to sound like this, or oh, I need this to go this way. Once you kind of clear yourself away from it and step back and give yourself a chance to think, it all flows right. It flows easy.
Nice. And tell us where we can find you on social media.
Um, I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook as Ralph Edge. On Instagram, I'm 19 Edge 73. And then I have my books Facebook page. That's Decisions, the series. Um, I don't have a Twitter. I don't know how to tweet. But that's about it. I don't have any other ones.
Okay. And what do you hope readers take away from reading your books?
That I brought them to another world. That I was able to, for a brief moment, have them escape from the world that they're in right now.
That's what we look for.
That's 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 pretty much and it's not like, because my books are not like, these are two together. This
Okay.
is one and two. They're not thick books where, you know, you got to take time out. They're quick reads. They're very quick reads. But in that brief moment, I just want to take you away from everything you thought about walking inside before you sat down on your couch and opened the book and started reading.
Hmm. I'm already putting, I didn't even read it yet, but I'm trying to see it. I'm putting
It's,
characters with actors with the characters in your book. Like,
oh
I
yes.
who could play that role?
Oh my goodness. I've done it. I've literally done that. Like when I'm writing my book and I'm like, ooh, if this ever become a book, who can I get to do that part?
Mm-hmm.
Or who can I get to do this part? So, and I actually try to stay away from it, because I don't want to put myself way up here in typing and I get away from my actual my actual goal of actual typing, because I'm like a visual reader. I like my stories to be visual. I'm very descriptive. So even like when I'm describing my characters, I describe them from head to toe. So it's like I've my sister is like in love with one of my characters. She's like, "Oh, Kareem is fine." I'm like, "Huh? What you mean?" She's like, "Oh, you got him like the dreadlocks, the muscles, the whole nine. That brother is fine." I'm like, "Okay." So that's what I like to do, and it's like when I type them up and I think about actors, I'm like, "Eh, I don't know who to put."
How do you think being a writer has helped you as a person?
It gave me patience.
Mhm.
It gave me because I have two teenagers, so I need patience. So it actually it gives me even though like I want my book to be an outlet, it gives me an outlet.
Mhm.
It it brings me to a whole another area in my head. And I tend to understand people a little more. I tend to not shy away from, but veer away from the negative.
Okay.
Like we talked earlier, our past, our former opened my eyes to a lot of different people. And it kind of, my writing kind of blends in with that, whereas like it opens my eyes to a whole different lifestyle.
Okay. And is there anything else that you would like to tell us about your books besides go get it?
How you know I was about to say that? You don't know me like that. Don't be judging me. Um, they're everyday, they're everyday books. They're everyday lifestyle books where I when you read it, you're gonna be like, dang, I know somebody like that. Is a book, all of them are books where all three of them are books where you're gonna be like, I know somebody like that. Or and you're gonna be able to relate to it. You're gonna be able to relate to the family bonds. You're gonna be able to relate to the friendships and the brokenheartedness of it, the whole nine. And that's one thing that you can get away from my books.
Okay. Well, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
This was fun.
Oh, hey, that's me. That's the New Orleans in me. We gotta have fun, man.
Absolutely. I still haven't been there yet. Jeez.
Stop it. But don't go now. If
I
you're
know
gonna
I
go,
can't go
have a
anywhere.
hazmat suit on if you go now.
But it's still busy. It's like there's no corona,
Very,
there's no virus,
very.
there's no nothing.
Hey, that city, that's baby Vegas. That city does
Yeah.
not stop.
Yeah.
But you gotta go. You
Yes,
from New
definitely.
Jersey, right?
Yes.
You gotta go.
Yeah. And my
You gotta
neighbor,
go.
she used to go every year for Essence. So she used to go to the Essence Festival. She bought
Oh, yeah,
Essence
she had a ball.
magazine.
She had a
Yeah,
ball.
definitely. And I'm like,
That
one
and
year
that's
I'm gonna go.
huh?
I said I used to always tell her, like, 1 year I'm gonna go. Haven't made
God dog it. And
it.
that's where you should have went. That's the perfect time to go.
Definitely.
Perfect time to go.
But I would rather go when it's not so busy. That way I can enjoy.
True.
Yeah.
You can enjoy the city, but I mean, Essence is caught in like one spot of the city.
Okay.
It's mainly one area of the city. It's not like how Mardi Gras is. Mardi Gras is a party from the Mississippi to Lake Pontchartrain.
Okay.
But Essence is mainly kind of in one area, kind of just in downtown where everything is going on. All the conventions.
All right, everyone. That was author Ralph Edgerson telling us about his book. Make sure you go out and purchase a copy. I'm going to take All right, everyone, that was author Ralph Edgerson telling us about his book. Make sure you go out and purchase a copy, and don't forget to like and subscribe to this video below. All right, y'all, that was author Ralph Edgerson telling us about his books. Make sure you go out and purchase a copy, and don't forget to like and subscribe to our videos below. All right, y'all, that was author Ralph Edgerson telling us about his books. Make sure y'all go out and purchase a copy, and don't forget to like and subscribe to our videos below.